Big up yourselves for coming through. Big up to Iftikhar. Guys, listen, you know what? I'm actually in quite a good mood today, Yesterday was a bit of a shit day, Bit of a shit day for me personally. I was meant to do a live stream watching that Newcastle Arsenal game. But yeah, no, listen, didn't really happen. But today is a better day, man. But yesterday was you know what? Yes, I don't know what it was yesterday. Yesterday just a horrible day for me. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible day for me. But yeah, I feel a lot better now, man, to be honest with you. Today. I think you know what it is with me. Once I get on the camera and I start interacting with you guys, I think it just puts me in a better mood. I love discussing football. Big up to Daniela as well for coming through. Yeah, I love discussing football. I just like general chatting, just, you know what I mean? And as I said, man, when I get on this camera and I'm discussing football with you guys, then yeah, it's always going to be a more positive day. But yeah, I have to say, it wasn't a great day for me yesterday. But listen, today's a new day, and yeah, listen, we're gonna get into some more football talk. Big up yourselves for coming on earlier as well. Big up to Barbara Joseph. Big up to Not Brett May as well. Not Brett May saying Big Sam is in for the job, making jokes again. Listen, big up to United fan 345. Big up, my guy. I'm all good, man. As I said, horrible day yesterday. Yeah, I won't really go into it, but you know what? Today's a better day, and it's what it's about, man. It's about just improving every day, making the most of every day, because you never know what's around the corner. So, as I said, yeah, I'm in a much better frame of mind today. But as I said, I was meant to do a stream yesterday, a live watch along, which didn't happen. But guys, definitely Wednesday, we're going to be doing the live watch along for the PSG and Barcelona game, 100%. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, Not Brett May says, do you think United are in a relegation battle? You know what? With this manager, we are. We are in a relegation battle with this manager. I mean, what are we now? We're 14th position. So, yeah, listen, man. If this manager continues, it's only going to get worse. And that's why the title says he's still here. And I cannot believe this manager is still at the helm of Manchester United. And we're going to go into in a little bit, guys. We're going to go into why as well, because I've got some stuff to read out that I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Yeah. And this manager, for me, is an absolute fucking disgrace. He's an absolute disgrace. And as I said, the title that he's still here, I'm hearing Xavi wants the United job. I'm hearing Ineos wants, I'm not sure about getting rid of him. I just don't know what to believe. But one thing I will tell you, Ineos, it's down to you now. I'm done with blaming the manager. We're gonna go through some of these ridiculous stats in a minute, but it's not about Amorim anymore. It's about Ineos. Ineos trying to save face, but the longer this continues, the worse it's gonna get. When you've got other fans of other clubs saying United are in a relegation battle, or you've got other fans saying let's keep the manager, it's bad. You know what I mean? So so as I said, man, it's not good reading, but it's over to Ineos, man, because this can't continue any longer. So I think Iftikhar asked me earlier about Glasner. I think it was. Yeah, listen, Glasner, Xavi, Iraola. Just go and get me any manager, as I keep saying, that wants to play progressive football, play a four at the back, and put the best players on the pitch. That's all I ask for, And United fans saying, would you take Ralph Rangnick back if we sack Ruben? You know what it is, yeah? I don't want Rangnick as a manager. I want Rangnick upstairs. That's what his role is. I think he's manager now still of who is it? He's manager of I don't know in my head. I can't remember the name of the team now. Who does David Alaba play for? Forgot. What country is he from again? Oh, wait, David Alaba, what country is he from again? I forgot. Oh, Austria. Yeah, so I think he's manager of Austria still. But again, I would like Rangnick back, but just not in the position as a manager. You know, I think he's someone that oversees stuff upstairs, and for me, that's where he should be. So I just want a proper manager in that that wants to play, as I say, progressive football. But the main thing is playing the best players, the likes of Xerxes, the likes of Kobe, the likes of Ahmad, the likes of Cunha and Mbuemo. Those guys can all fit into the team for me. So that's what I want to see. Ramos says, if Ineos keep him longer, we might go for a relegation battle. Experienced manager as interim, I'd pick Sean Dyche. And you see what I mean, yeah. This is the kind of talk here that has got other fans doing. You know, this is the kind of situation that Ruben Amorim has put Man United. That we're now talking about Sean Dyche. Like, that's how bad it is now. And as I said, do I want Sean Dyche at Man United? I don't, and it's not going to happen. But if this manager does stay longer than what is necessary, he will put United in a relegation battle, because these players are quite clearly they quite clearly don't want to play for him. They're unhappy. All the other things you want to say. They don't want to play for this manager, and rightfully so, because this manager is destroying a lot of these players. And as I said, it's one of them things where it's over to Ineos, because this can't continue any longer. You know, it's been an absolute shambles. And as I said, man, that game against Brentford on Saturday lunchtime. Again, if anyone's surprised that United got beaten 3-1, if you're a Man United fan and you didn't see that coming, then I'm not quite sure where you've been. Because as I said, from the start of the season, from the start of pre-season, I said quite clearly, you know, this manager should have gone when they got beat by Tottenham in the Europa League final. Any competent team sacks the manager after finishing 15th and then losing the Europa League final. The fact that this club kept him, Ineos kept him, and then throughout pre-season, you know, there was fans that were getting way too carried away with performances. Again, I watched every game, and I've watched every game this season and pre-season, and I saw no change. You know, I saw no change. I saw a team that was still set up the same way. I saw better players come into the club, i.e. Cunha, Mbuemo, that would add quality to the team, but still there wasn't much going on. Again, playing West Ham, Everton and Bournemouth in pre-season and winning the summer series. I mean, if you're a Man United fan and you took anything away from that, then I'm sorry, man. That's just poor, because I watched every single game and I wasn't convinced in any game that United have been different. You know, I still see gaps in the midfield. I still see the team can't string passes together. I still see strikers not really scoring goals, and there's no creativity there. These things were still happening in pre-season. You know, so I wasn't convinced. And then we get to the first game of the Premier League season and we see Man United against Arsenal. And, you know, a lot of fans, and I wasn't one of them, were saying, you know, Manchester United have played well against Arsenal, which is just criminal, because that was just the game where Arsenal didn't turn up. It's the first game of the season, United at home. And by all accounts, people were thinking United played well. Again, I'm not sure what these fans were seeing, but I just saw United were better than Arsenal, and that was because Arsenal was shit. That wasn't because Man United made Arsenal look shit. It just wasn't. Man United were just a slightly better team. But on the whole, we lost 1-0. You know, whether people want to blame Buy-in there, or blame Bruno, or blame Mason Mount, it was still a loss at the end of the day. 3 points gone, yeah? Then we go into the Fulham game. You know, you guys have probably heard me say this already. The Fulham game, United shouldn't have won that game. Shouldn't have drawn that game. They should have lost that game. Burnley 3-2. When you're beating Burnley at home 3-2, and you're getting a last minute penalty, which wasn't a penalty, this is where people have to start realizing that, you know, we've been fooled by this manager. And then you go on to the Chelsea game, yeah. Now, that Chelsea game we spoke about, that was one of the worst games I've seen from two supposed big clubs, you know. That was an absolute joke of a game. It was shit. And it was all compounded by the sending off of Robert Sanchez and then the stupid substitutions of Enzo Maresca, which killed the game entirely. And then, before that, Man City. We got absolutely destroyed by Man City. That was embarrassing. And then the game just gone Brentford. And guys, let's not get away from it, yeah? That game against Brentford should have been about 6-1. It was that bad. And I was watching it, obviously doing the live watch along. And the thing is, I wasn't even angry. Like, I was just more like laughing because this team ain't doing nothing under this manager. Like, it's quite clear this manager just hasn't got what it takes, you know. And I blame a lot of the fan base because they're just incapable of just saying what's right, you know. This channel here, you're gonna get honest truth. You're gonna get myself that is just not gonna just lie to you. I'm gonna give you the honest truth, whether it's my team, whether it's other teams. And the fact that there's still fans backing this Ruben Amorim and saying he hasn't got his players, you know, he hasn't got this, he hasn't got that, you know, shame on you because you're actually part of the problem that is making this club go backwards. Because any competent manager, competent team, just sacks this guy straight away. You know, I saw from the very start when this manager come in, and a good vantage point for me is who the players he favors. I always say this, you know, whenever I look at a manager that comes in, as soon as he favors certain players, that's when he's lost me. You know, and when I see he was favouring Bruno Fernandes, he was favouring Mason Mount, Maguire was back into the team regularly. When I saw all these things, Rasmus Højlund, etc., Garnacho when he was here, when I saw these things, I said, this manager's not for Manchester United. Because I don't care what anyone says. If you want to win games, you have to play the best players. Playing the best players, which means playing your most technical players at all times, is a good start, which he doesn't want to do because of this stupid system and how he sees football. You know, ridiculous. Ramos says, I replaced Wilcox with Ranić. I think Ranić would sell the Deadwood and sign Gems. You know what, Ramo? Big up yourself, man. I still want to give Wilcox a chance because out of all of Ineos, the backroom staff and that, yeah, I think Wilcox is the only one that I'm looking at as saying, do you know what? Let's give him a chance, you know, because by all accounts, he doesn't rate Amorim anyway, you know, and the players that United have been linked with and targeting, I'm happy with. And I think a lot of it does come down to Jason Wilcox. So, again, I'll bring Ranić in. And if there's a way where Ranić can work with Wilcox, then I'll be happy for that. But I'm willing to give Wilcox another some more time because I do think what he's done so far is good, you know. But if they don't sack this manager and sack him soon, then all that work might be undone. So who knows? United need a manager with Prem experience. I hear it. Iraola for me is the only one. I wanted Thomas Frank, funny enough, but Iraola is the only one I'm looking at right now, you know, that I can see that's going to take this United team on. And as I said, there's a lot of people that think this team can't do anything, which is a complete lie. This team is not doing anything in this system, you know. Play a 4-2-3-1, play a 4-3-3, no doubt, and play your best players. You are going to get better performances, more confidence, and you'll see United shoot up that table. No doubt. Rajat says, I think leadership is missing in Man United. Yeah, I see that. I mean, I look at the real leaders in this Man United squad, and for me, it's Casemiro and Matthias de Ligt. One of them should be the captain, should have been the captain. When Casemiro first come to the club, the first thing that they should have done is made him the captain, you know. The fact that he's come in and he's been captained by Bruno Fernandes, him and Varane, it tells you all you need to know. It tells you all you need to know. Any manager that's got anything about them doesn't make Bruno Fernandes captain Casemiro or Varane. These guys have been playing for Real Madrid, winning Champions Leagues and winning titles. Bruno Fernandes has come from Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, where he didn't even win a title. But yet he's captaining those two. That's a red flag straight away. You know, and as I said, leaders are born within teams as well. I look at United now, and I'm looking at those two. People might say Maguire because of his experience, you know, but again, United do need to be bringing in, you know, more players of personality, you know. But again, if you've got a confident team, you know, and everyone's pulling in the same direction, sometimes leaders are created just like that. Because if everyone's on the same page and you're winning games, you know, naturally you're going to be more inclined to want to be the player to stand out. Because leaders come in different shapes and sizes. Leaders come in different kind of personalities. Some leaders are quiet, you know, but they lead by example on the pitch. Some leaders are vocal, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at performance wise, Mazraoui for me is a leader because he's consistent. The Lick's definitely a leader, whether it's vocal or being consistent in performances. Casemiro's a leader because of his presence on the pitch and what he's won. Um, who else is there? I look at Cunha. Cunha's a leader for me, and again, he's worn the armband at Wolves before. You know, he's definitely a leader. So yeah, I look at Cunha and Cunha, Casemiro, De Ligt, and Mazraoui. Them guys for me are leaders on the pitch in different ways, either through performances, personality, or being vocal. So I hear it, man, but we definitely need more. I wouldn't mind Conte, Prem proven, won the league, disciplinarian, and makes his team win. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't want Conte. I don't. I'm sick and tired of these three at the back managers or these managers that just want to play a certain way. I need to get a manager in at Man United that wants to play the best players and play attacking football. I'm sick and tired of watching Man United right now and just seeing the kind of football we're playing. This putrid kind of football. It's just horrible. So it's not too much to ask for. Just go and play some good football, and at least we can start enjoying the game. That's all I want to see, you know. Big up to Callum Kane. Big up my guy for coming on. Big up. Baba says, bro, Wilcox is a fraud. He's nowhere near the level of technical director. He's just an academy guy. He looked at our midfield and just said we'll be fine. Also, it was under him we signed Ugarte. Big up to Baba. Baba, I disagree with that though, and I'll tell you why I disagree, yeah? So, again, what you have to look at, yeah? I was someone that was, and again, those of you that have been watching the channel will know this, yeah? I was a massive advocate of getting Baleba in even before this season. You know, I said that at the start of the summer, someone is going to snap this guy up. You know, I said it last season because I can just see that he's got something that a lot of these top clubs are going to want, and he's young as well. Let's not forget as well, this is a player that come from Lille in France, you know, and he was playing regularly for them. So immediately, I wanted Baleba before they even got linked to him, yeah? Now, for me, the fact that United never signed him, I'm not happy, don't get me wrong, yeah? But what I would say, and this is actually quite clever from what Ineos and what Wilcox have actually done. This manager was the reason why Bruno Fernandes stayed at the club. Bruno Fernandes is on, what, 300 grand a week. Casemiro's on 350. You've got Mason Mount on 250. Ugarte costs 60 million. So, and then you've got Kobe, obviously, who's from the academy, yeah? So all those players that can play central midfield, you're looking at almost £1 million a week, yeah, in wages, yeah? Now, this manager chose to say to Bruno, chose to be an advocate. Big up to Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar. This manager chose to be an advocate to keep Bruno Fernandes, you know, saying he's his captain and all this other nonsense, yeah? Now, if that's the case, yeah, then why would Ineos then say, okay, we're going to go and give you a midfielder? You now have to go and work with what you've got. And guys, I keep saying this as well, yeah? If this guy, I'm not even going to call him a coach because he's clearly not a coach, yeah? Ruben Amorim was brought in because he was meant to be a good coach. Because when he took over from Ten Hag, you know, whether people like this or not, Man United I think there were 4 points from the top four way before he took over. Now, he was brought in because most importantly, he's meant to be a top coach, yeah? The fact that United have gone backwards this much, yeah, this is why we have to be looking at him first and foremost. I don't care what players he hasn't got or what player he has got. The facts are he hasn't coached this team to go and do anything. It's quite obvious, you know. They've actually got worse. And again, I'm going to go through some of these things anyway, yeah. Now, when you're saying Wilcox is an academy guy, I agree, he is. The fact that he was promoted to technical director is good, getting rid of Dan Ashworth, because obviously we know who Dan Ashworth was linking United to. And obviously the one blemish on their career, on their resume at the moment, Ineos, is Manuel Ugarte, because he's absolutely shit. And I agree. You know, people do make mistakes. It is allowed. But what I would say is I'm not someone that's going to call Wilcox a fraud or tell him that he hasn't done a good job. Because the players we've been linked with, you know, some of the players that have gone as well, you have to look at Jason Wilcox and think, do you know what? He has actually done a good job. So the one blemish on their whole career was Ugarte. And again, I'll be very surprised to see if Jason Wilcox was at the forefront of getting Ugarte, because I don't think he was. Because the players we've been linked to don't have has Jason Wilcox written all over it, you know. So I don't think Ugarte had anything to do with Wilcox. I think that was other people part of Ineos that probably wanted that signing to happen. And let's not forget, man, this signing has been an absolute joke. And he cost, what, 60 million? So for me, I don't think Wilcox is a fraud. And I'm willing to give him more time. Because, but the one thing right now is the manager. The longer this manager's here, the bigger question marks over Ineos's head. So I just hope that there's something in the pipeline with this Ruben Amorim and him leaving Manchester United. Johnny Hill says, to be honest, whoever the next manager is, they have to have Manu as a key player. One of the best young talents in football, and Amorim decides to bench him for a 30-year-old number 10. And big up to Johnny. So Johnny, first and foremost, Johnny, yeah? And I know exactly who you're talking about, yeah? What people need to realise, yeah, is that Bruno Fernandes is not a number 10. He never has been a number 10. The amount of people that think Bruno's a 10 is actually criminal to football. Because the number 10s that I grew up on watching, the likes of Pablo Aimar, the likes of Juan Roman Riquelme, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Totti, Del Piero, Bergkamp, Di Canio, Benito Carboni, you know, Rui Costa. Like, there's probably been more guys that I've actually forgotten, yeah? These guys are actual number 10s. They're real number 10s. Mesut Ozil, number 10, yeah? Bruno Fernandes has never been a number 10. He's just been a player that's been playing in that position because of Solskjaer and because of Eric Ten Hag. But he's never been a number 10. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the stage that if Man United had a team that was properly constructed, then you wouldn't, like, Kobbie Mainoo would actually be an effective player off the bench and trying to find his way. The fact that Kobbie Mainoo can't find his way into a team like this, yeah, is not Kobbie Mainoo's fault. It's the manager's fault, because this system's shit for one, yeah? And the fact of the matter is, Kobbie Mainoo in this system is a 10. He's not a central midfield player in a 2. Because as I keep saying, the 2 in midfield in this system, you need to have leadership, you need to have legs, and you need to have discipline as well. And these things Kobbie doesn't have because he's only 19 or 20 years of age. So little things like that the manager's not identifying is why he's a shit manager. Because he should have identified that Kobbie, really and truly, Kobbie can play as a central midfielder, yeah? But when the team's struggling the way it is, you don't want to put a player like him in that position because he's still trying to establish himself in a Man United lineup. But I agree, when a new manager comes in, change the formation to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, and you're going to definitely get a better Kobbie Mainoo. Because Kobbie Mainoo right now needs to be playing with freedom. He's not playing with freedom right now at this club because of this system. So, as I said, man, big up for your comment. But yeah, if Man United were doing what they're meant to be doing, then we would definitely get a better Kobbie Mainoo. But listen, as it stands right now, Kobbie's never going to shine on this manager. This manager doesn't rate him. Again, the manager's been lying to us, telling us that he's competing with Bruno. All of a sudden now, he's now playing with Bruno. Like, this manager's a complete liar. And as I said, man, the quicker he's out, the better. Big up to Promise. Manu says, Manu Banter Club. Yeah, listen, we are a banter club. And, oh, Promise, you're hating now. Okay. You're a hater. I get it. I'm gonna read it out anyway. So Promise says, budget Mark Goldbridge. Yeah. And what makes me laugh here, I've heard this, Mark Goldbridge, but what makes me laugh here is that when you're getting people that come on here and start talking nonsense, yeah, like like Promise has done. Promise, listen, at the end of the day, yeah, everyone has their own opinion. Like, I couldn't give a toss about some guy called Mark Goldbridge. Like, he has his opinion, I have mine. But when you're coming on there saying budget Mark Goldbridge, yeah, What, do you think that only his voice matters? Is that the way you see football? Because I can say this for free, yeah. When it comes to just pure football talk, yeah, that I can sit like I can match it with anyone. That's the honest truth. My whole life has been football. So you're coming on there hating on the channel saying budget Mark Goldbridge as if Mark Goldbridge is the oracle to football. Mark Goldbridge don't know more about football than me. I can say that for free. My football knowledge is up there with anyone. It is. So you're coming on there talking shit rather than constructing an actual proper dialogue about football. You know what I mean? Yes, he has the numbers, you know, off the backs of other people that have their channels now as well. But when it comes to pure footballing talk, as I said to you, man, this is the place to be because I know my football. So you're coming on there saying budget Mark Goldbridge and you're disrespecting me at the same time because you don't know nothing about me, my background, and yet you're coming on there just talking shit. Like, end of the day, you're not forced to be here, man. So if you don't want to be here, then you can fuck off, man. It's as simple as that. Octogram says leaders can be bottom too. So yeah, leaders can be bottoms too. So yeah, not understanding that one. Baba says give the armband to De Ligt. He's been the captain before Ajax. We just want Bruno to shut up and stop giving instructions to others and play your own game. Yeah, listen, De Ligt should have been the captain, like De Ligt and Casemiro, as I said. And when we're talking about Bruno Fernandes, it's like, I'm not sure if people have actually clocked onto what Bruno's doing now. Bruno's been doing this ever since he come into the club. And it's only got worse because he's been made the captain and the fan base have made him feel like he's invincible. The fact that he missed that penalty is actually good reading because the fact of the matter is, yeah, his penalty, if he would have scored it, would have masked over a poor display yet again. And the fact that he took the penalty was nothing short of selfish because what he should have done, yeah, is for, you know what, Mbeumo's against his former club. He won the penalty. Give it to Mbeumo, give it to Cunha. But Bruno wants the glory. You know, he wants to be seen telling everyone what to do. And this is what you get. And the funny thing is as well, yeah, is that with Bruno Fernandes, if you watch everything he does, yeah, some people will look at that as a leader. I don't. I look at it as that's someone that just wants to try and show the whole world like that nothing can be his fault. Yeah. Whenever Bruno has the ball, he's always pointing to players where to go. He's always pointing to people what runs to make. And it's like, Bruno, you're shit. Like, focus on your own game. Like, if I was in that team and Bruno was doing that to me, we're arguing. You know, we're arguing. We are probably fighting on that pitch because there's no way I'm going to have a player of that low level try and tell me how to play football. Like, it's embarrassing, this whole thing at Man United. The fact that he's got the cheek to try and tell people where to run and what to do, and there's no one that's told him to shut up, that's part of the problem. Like, in the era that I was growing up playing football, there's no way he would get away with that. Like, it's embarrassing what I'm seeing on the pitch. You got someone like that that is trying to tell people where to run. Like, he couldn't. If that was me, I'm telling him where to go, man. You know what I mean? So this is the real talk. Like, he can't do that to Casemiro because Casemiro will tell him to shut up. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't even do that to Cunha. Anyone that's got anything about themselves is telling Bruno Fernandes to shut up. Simple as. Baleba is kind of helping us right now, to be honest. His head's been completely turned by United, which has led to his performances dropping. Brighton may look to move him on to avoid a toxic workplace. Yeah, listen, I don't think Baleba's being toxic. He's not. And at the end of the day, when people are saying his performances have dropped, I mean, I think that's too premature to say that. I just think that he's not really playing as well as he can do, whether the interest from United is there or not. So I think that's a bit over the top. But listen, he's definitely leaving Brighton, whether it's January or next season. He's definitely leaving Brighton, and Man United have to be in the hat for that. It's as simple as that. But guys, before we carry on, I'm gonna go through some of the stats because, as I said, man, Manchester United have been poor, yeah, and this manager's been an absolute disgrace. So I'm gonna go through the negative stats. You know, because I knew it was this bad, but I didn't realize it was it was as bad as this, yeah? So, guys, Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. And again, there could be more, but these are the ones that I took out from this, yeah? So, Ruben Amorim, Worst win percentage of any Manchester United boss who has taken charge of 25 or more games in 80 years. So these are the negative stats that this manager is breaking at Manchester United. His win percentage, so coming out on top, just 36.2%. So since his time at Manchester United, he has come out top 36.2%, which is an absolute disgrace. And these are the things where just alone, yeah, what we're seeing on the pitch ain't good enough, yeah? But alone, you should be sacking him off of this. 27.3% lowest win percentage. Worst Premier League points per game, 1.03. 9 defeats, which is the most in a single season since 1962. So again, these are all the stats that this manager is breaking. 17 most overall defeats in a single season since 1973. 28, which is the fewest games to reach 15 defeats. 44 lowest Premier League points total, which is projected, yeah? The fastest manager to 5 losses in his first 10 games since 1932. Ruben Amorim. 24%, which is the worst win record since Sir Alex Ferguson's reign. Ruben Amorim. No back-to-back wins in 33 games. Ruben Amorim. Lost to League 2 Grimsby in the Carabao Cup. Ruben Amorim. Lowest league position, which has dropped to 16th. Ruben Amorim. Worst Premier League points per game. Oh, I said that one already, sorry. Worst league finish, which was 15th. They were 8th when he took over, so they've dropped 7 places. And it's the worst since Paul Jewell, right, by the way, the points per game. 21, which is the most goals conceded. He's the first Premier League manager to concede 21. He's conceded 21 goals first in a game, the most out of any Premier League manager. That is Ruben Amorim, yeah? And I got one positive for you guys, just one. 72.73% win percentage in the Europa League. And let's not forget, guys, that Europa League was more the players, not the manager. So again, these are the things that this manager is doing, but yet we still have to contend with this manager still being here, unfortunately. So this is what this manager's doing, guys. He is disgracing the football club, you know. And again, fans that want to say, you know, it's the players, you know, he hasn't got his midfielder, he hasn't got this. At the end of the day, you can't hide from them stats, because regardless if you haven't got this and that people want to say, there's no excuse for what this manager's doing. Absolute disgrace of a manager, you know. So if people want to defend this manager after just hearing those stats, unfortunately you're part of the problem, because there's no way this manager should still be here. No way. And by all accounts, we're hearing that, you know, I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but Ineos might be looking at keeping him or whatever. I don't believe that. And I said, guys, he needs to get 6 points from these next 2 games against Brentford and Sunderland. He's failed. He's failed. Not to mention the previous results as well. So Man United's next game is Sunderland at home. Are you confident United beat Sunderland under this manager if he's still here? And then we got Liverpool away. And then we got Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham. Ineos, it's over to you, man. It's over to you. Big up to Broderick. But there were reports where he was advocating for an inflated box-to-box midfielder to play alongside Bruno. Plus, regardless of Blair, but we could have got someone else of the same profile. Yeah, and this manager wanted fucking Conor Gallagher. Like, I'm happy, Baba, that that the board said. Don't get me wrong. I wanted the midfielder. I wanted Baleba. But then when Baleba wasn't gonna come, I thought, do you know what? Don't get him a player. Let him deal with what he's got to deal with, because you're the one that chose to keep Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Now you've got to deal with that. And the fact that he wanted Conor Gallagher, which is an absolute disgrace, and they said it can only be a loan deal. I think was reported. Good. I mean, the fact that we're talking about Conor Gallagher in a Manchester United midfield just shows you how far this club has dropped. Because there's no way I'm going to accept watching Manchester United with Conor Gallagher and Bruno Fernandes as a midfield two. Like, there's no way I'd accept that. There should be riots, yeah, if that was to happen. You know, I don't advocate riots, but if that was to ever happen, you have to do something because that's unacceptable to have Bruno Fernandes and Conor Gallagher as a midfield two. The fact we bought Ugarte, then they used that money to get Neves makes me sick. Bro, the whole thing makes me sick. 60 million on Ugarte, who's absolute shit. Like, he's crap. Like, but again, people that actually know their football would know that he was never good enough in the first place. And that's the one blemish on Ineos's career at the moment at United. They went and spent 60 million on Ugarte, and they need to get rid of him as soon as possible. I expect Ugarte to be gone. I don't think he goes in January, but end of the season, he has to be gone. Because he's nowhere near the level. He's all well and good when if United are winning to put out fires. But what United need in that midfield is pure quality. And he's nowhere near it. And to think, yeah, João Neves was replaced him. And again, João Neves in that PSG midfield, he ain't no world beater. He's not. Like Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz are the technicians in that team. But what João Neves has, he has legs. And in terms of ability on the ball, he's got more ability than Ugarte. So again, Man United have been scammed with this Ugarte nonsense, you know. Oh, bro, don't worry. I don't think this Bruno's good number 10. He's just even worse as a pivot player. To be honest, the system just as we saw Manu balling out as a number 8 before Amorim come in. Yeah, Johnny. But what I'm saying, Johnny, it's not about Bruno being a good number 10. He's not a number 10. That's what I'm saying to you. He never has been a number 10. He's a number 8. He's just been played in a number 10 position. That's the difference. You know what I mean? So, yeah. People just need to realize that he's not a number 10. He never has been. Bruno is the most dangerous player in the world as a free role up front where he can create havoc near the opposition box. I know you're trolling, man, so I'm just going to just bypass that one. Charlie Roberts says, I think a 3-4-3 777 is a great formation. Big up to Rishi. Rishi says, big up, Gav. Bruno living into expectations again. But Rishi, who would have known? Who would have known, man? You know, it's all well and good, like a lot of Bruno's fans coming into the chat and just, you know, when Bruno gets a goal, or people saying you're a hater of Bruno, this and that. But look, man, who has the last laugh? Because I'm telling you now, I've been saying this before I even had a channel, yeah, that this guy is the biggest problem at the club. People are now probably coming around to it now. But where have you been? I've been saying this for years. He's the biggest problem at the club. He became the biggest problem at the club when the fan base decided to have Bruno Fernandes ahead of Paul Pogba. That's when he became the biggest problem at the club. Because it became about, you know, race. That's how I look at it. You know, these fans couldn't wait to get rid of Paul Pogba, you know, and put in Bruno Fernandes. We all know why that is, yeah? But I've been saying this for years, and now people are actually starting to wake up to the fact that Bruno Fernandes is a problem. He's been a problem ever since he walked through the door. The truth. But big up to Rishi. Yeah, big up Kevin, man. Big up. Bruno is not the issue. The manager is the issue. He's absolutely clueless. But Kevin, Bruno is the issue along with the manager. You know, again, check out my content. I've been saying to you that these two together are an issue. I've been saying that. You know, they're both Portuguese compatriots. Them two as a duo are the biggest problem on the pitch. Because you've got the manager and the captain. And the manager's stubborn. Bruno's got a bad attitude, you know. And when you put those two together, again, what do you expect? What do you expect? Yeah, listen, he's got a bad attitude. He's ill-disciplined. But all people want to tell you, yeah, is that he's numbers. He's numbers. That's all people want to tell you. Because really what it means is that they ain't really got no argument for it. but look at numbers. And guys, as I keep saying to you guys as well, yeah, when you've got a midfielder that is getting more goals than your striker, this is when you have to look at that the system's broken, because that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. I've never seen a top team, yeah, in world football that has a number 10 getting more goals than the actual striker. I've never seen it. I've never seen it consistently. So if that's happening, that just means that that there's no system, and it's just everything's revolved around that player. And as you can see, every free kick, every corner, every penalty that this guy is on, are we surprised why he's getting numbers? No. You know, go through all the teams. Do you think Musiala will get more goals than Harry Kane? No. Do you think well, Barcelona are a bit different because they play more of a 4-3-3 with wide players. But I'm looking, if you look at any team that plays with an actual number 10, look at De Bruyne. Did De Bruyne get more goals than Haaland? No. Real Madrid. Who do they play as a 10? I mean, I'm not even looking at Burnham as a 10 because that's a disgrace. But just look at all the top teams in the world, and you very rarely find an actual number 10 getting more goals than your actual striker. Look at the likes of when Ronaldinho, Zidane, Ozil, all these players, these top number 10s, Aymar, Riquelme. Look at when they played as a number 10. Were they getting more goals than their actual striker? The answer is no, because these guys were creators first. Bruno Fernandes just wants it all about himself, and it's quite clear. And on Saturday against Brentford, you can clearly see that, because the fact that he took that penalty, you know, it was all about him scoring a goal to make himself relevant with the fan base. You know, you're not fooling me, man. I see through all this nonsense. And as Baba says, Bruno should have given the pen to Sesko. He had already scored 1 goal and was looking sharp and confident. He could have scored a brace. As a captain, you can improvise on the pitch. But again, I would have given it to I would have given the penalty to Mbeumo Acuna. They're the new signings, you know. They're Premier League proven as well. Give it to one of them. But Bruno's not going to do that, because Bruno wants to make it all about himself. You know, and people are only coming round to the fact of that now. Which, where have you been? Vice City legend, big up Chrism as well. So Oto Daz says, made a decision after the Brentford game, won't be watching the United game other than YouTube 3-minute highlights, as long as Bruno, that absolute terrorist to football, continues to own this club. Bro, listen, I feel your pain, man. I do feel your pain. I mean, I'm always going to watch football because I just love football. And even though this club is in the gutter right now, you know, I'm still going to watch the games. But listen, I feel your pain, man. The fact that we've got a manager of Ruben Amorim's level, which is low, and you've got a player of a low level of Bruno Fernandes running the team, this is what you get, unfortunately. I've been saying this for years. You've got 2 people there that are basically running the team. That's the way I see it. When you've got a manager that is incapable of taking off Bruno Fernandes and he's stubborn to go with it, you know what I mean? It's absolutely foolish, man. But this is the problem. This is the problem. And until both of them are out, we're going to keep seeing the same old nonsense, unfortunately. So, Baba says, don't forget Xerxes. Why did Ineos sign him as he's a misfit? Calls himself a 9.5. What's a 9.5? Never seen others call themselves a 9.5. Misprofiling from Ineos. Baba, big up, man. I disagree, though. And the thing is, Xerxes is not a misfit, yeah? What the problem is, yeah, and when you're saying he calls himself a 9.5, yeah, what he means, yeah, is that he's a mix of a 10 and a 9. The problem with football fans this day and age, yeah, is that they can't identify a player's strengths and weaknesses. And and the thing is, they don't really understand certain strikers. The thing with Xerxes, yeah, a lot of fans look at Xerxes and say, I mean, you even have idiots saying Xerxes not a 9. Of course Xerxes is a 9. He's a number 9 with number 10 qualities. And the problem is that a lot of fans look at other number 9s and think you have to compare everyone as the same. You're not going to compare Xerxes as a 9 to Erling Haaland. Why is that? Because Erling Haaland is a fox in the box goal scorer, and he plays on the shoulder. So you're not going to compare Xerxes with Erling Haaland. Yeah, you're not going to compare Xerxes with Victor Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres is a target man kind of striker. You know, Xerxes likes to drop in deep, connect and link the play. You know, you get different kind of strikers. You get fox in the boxes. You get players that want to play on the shoulder. You get false nines like a Xerxes that want to drop in and create. You know, Harry Kane is not the same type of striker as Erling Haaland. He's not. Harry Kane drops in deep, links the play, but can be a fox in the box as well. So again, it's just a lot of fans don't really understand different profiles of strikers. And the fact of the matter is, this system is not only killing Xerxes, but it's killing Ahmad, it's killing Kobe. I mean, Brian Mbeumo is not even playing as a winger. He's playing as a right 10. I mean, if anyone wants to see how much nonsense this manager is doing with certain players, look at Brian Mbeumo, because I can guarantee you now there's a lot of fans out there that actually think Mbeumo's playing in his position because he's playing on the right hand side. He's not. He's playing as a 10. He has never played as a 10, and that's part of the manager's problem. The way he identifies players in positions is his biggest problem. You know, it's his biggest problem. So again, going back to your question, Baba, yeah, Xerxes is not a misfit. In terms of a footballer, he's one of United's most talented footballers, along with Ahmad and along with Cunha and Kobe, yeah? He's one of their most talented players. The problem is this manager doesn't like footballers. He likes runners, which is why you see Mason Mount playing all the time. So until a manager comes in and wants to play the best players, which I keep saying, we're going to keep seeing the same old nonsense. That's the problem. So again, when he says a 9.5, it means more or less he's a number 9 with number 10 qualities. Someone that wants to link the play and drop deep. And again, if you've got wide forwards in a 4-2-3-1, like Mbeumo, like Cunha, Xerxes is the perfect profile for that position because he can link the play and allow the wide goal scoring forwards to get numbers. Yeah? This is something the manager is just incapable of seeing because he just doesn't want to change anything. You know? This is the problem. So Kevin says Bruno is one of the most creative players in the world. Again, Kevin, I'm not quite sure how much football you've seen, but if you think that, is there any reason why football's in the gutter? Because if you think Bruno's creative, then I'm sorry to tell you he's not. Yeah? And again, this chance creation, and I'm going to put this to bed right now, this whole chance creation nonsense, yeah? Guys, how they count chances created in football, in this era of football, Bruno Fernandes takes every corner, every free kick, and he's on more or less every set piece, yeah? So regardless if Bruno puts in a shit ball, yeah, and a Man United player happens to get their head to the ball or get a touch to it, that gets counted as a chance created in this era of football. I'm not sure if a lot of you know this, yeah, but when people are saying Bruno's the most creative player in the world, it's actually a lie. And I'm not sure what fans are telling you, whatever, yeah? But he ain't the most creative player in the world. He's not. He's someone that is on every... Because I guarantee you this now, yeah? Take him off all the set pieces and you'll clearly see that he's not the most creative player in the world. It's a complete lie. That's the thing. I watch every game, yeah, Man United play, and I can tell you this for free, he ain't creative. He's not. He's someone that just spams the ball into areas and he needs winning runners. Like, he loved Garnacho because Garnacho was a winning runner. Rasmus Højlund was a winning runner. So to make Bruno's game look better, he just spams the ball into areas so them guys can run onto it. But when you've got to play a shorter game, you know, and keep the ball, that ain't his game, and he gets found out. So this whole Bruno's the most creative player in the world is actually a lie. Yeah, and what I would say, guys, listen to channels like this or to people that I watch, people like Ransom Bants, Flawless at Sarcasm City. These guys will give you the real truth, you know, along with myself. Because, as I said, there's a lot of fans out there that are just lying, and the media lie as well. You know, when Man United played Arsenal first game of the season, what's the first thing that they done before kickoff? Bruno was going out for the coin toss. What did they start showing? Bruno's numbers. And again, Sky Sports have a very good way of manipulating people. Yeah, because all you're gonna see is if you're someone that's never watched football before, and then you see Bruno Fernandes on TV, and then you see he's got 20 something goals and 20 something assists, you're automatically gonna think, oh, he must be good. But the reality is, I watch every game, and the majority of the games, Bruno's never good, but he masks it with a goal or an assist. So again, I implore people to just watch channels or to watch people like myself, yeah, that is not gonna bullshit you and give you the real, honest, hard-hitting truths, which not a lot out there do. So this whole Bruno's the most creative is an absolute lie. Yeah, it's a lie. Big up to Amared Duruk 22 says Lamine Yamal's the best, 100%, 100%. He's gonna be leading the next generation. Even the game the other day when he come on and got the assist for Lewandowski, he had one disallowed for offside, but the finish was just an easy finish for him. You know, again the composure. Kevin says Pogba was garbage, mate. You have made it about race. Poor victim mentality again. Pathetic. Kevin, if you're still in the chat, tell me how I've made it about race. Because I'm telling you now, if you think Pogba was garbage, tell me why you think he was garbage rather than just talking nonsense. Because people like yourself just come on there and you're just putting in comments or whatever. The facts are, and hear me clearly, yeah. The reason Bruno Fernandes was propped up by this club is because they wanted to put Paul Pogba in his place, and it is about race. So I can guarantee you this now: if Paul Pogba wasn't black, he wouldn't have been forced at this club. That's a fact. So you can disagree or agree with me all you want, but I'm telling you it's about race, regardless of what you're saying. Because when you're coming out saying Pogba was garbage, you're actually talking shit. That's the facts. You're talking shit. So again, if you're still in the chat, and once I get to your other comments, we can debate it out. Because as I said, it was definitely about race. I'm gonna put a poll out actually just to see. So guys, bear me 1 minute. Let me know what you think. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think. I'm gonna put a poll out now. Right, guys, if anyone can see the poll, yeah. Again, this is up for debate. Yeah, if you don't agree, then fair enough. But yeah, let me know what you think. So was Paul Pogba scapegoated at Man United? Yes or no? So we got 60% saying. Let's see. So 7 votes saying 57 yes, 43% saying no. Let me know what you think, guys. Was Paul Pogba scapegoated at Manchester United? Right, just bear me 1 minute. So Baba says, I will take Carrick as an interim till next season. He plays a 4-2-3-1, which is fine. Plus, he dropped Bruno in those 3 games he was in charge. Baba, big up yourself, man. Big up yourself. Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick has probably been the first manager that has seen through this Bruno Fernandes nonsense. Yeah. Again, the 4-2-3-1 definitely needs to be played for me, you know. So and again, in those 3 games, he did drop Bruno. I remember one of them games was the Chelsea game. So listen, Michael Carrick knows. And again, Michael Carrick is a midfield player that knows what it takes to be in a midfield, knows what qualities it takes. So big up Michael Carrick. Big up to Baba as well. Vice City Legend says, see if you didn't check Virat Kohli, I will unsubscribe. Vice City Legend, if you want to unsubscribe, man. I don't give a fuck. If you want to unsubscribe. You know what I mean? It's up to you, man. I ain't going to force you to be here. Lampard got more goals than his strikers more often than not. Go figure. Yeah, listen, but as I said, Lampard didn't play a number 10, you clown. It's what I'm trying to say, Kevin, yeah? Do your homework. You don't understand what I'm talking about. Lampard wasn't a number 10. He played in a 4-3-3 with Essien and Makalele. I'm talking about number 10s in that position. Go and check the stats. There isn't many number 10s that that scored more than their strikers. Again, Monkey Man is saying Messi. Doesn't realise that Messi played as a false 9 and played on the right-hand side as a free role in a 4-3-3. Exactly my point. Some of you guys don't even understand what you're talking about. Go and check, yeah, an actual number 10. Someone that plays in behind the striker. I'll give you names. Ozil. Kevin De Bruyne. Who else was playing number 10? I think David Silva. Central number 10s. Go and check. And you'll find very quickly that not many number 10s have outscored their strikers. So, again, you're not listening to what I'm saying. The fact that some of you are mentioning Messi and Lampard, yes, Messi we know, yeah? But I'm talking about number 10s that play behind the striker. Messi in the 4-3-3, it was him one side, Neymar the other side, and what's his face? And Suarez the striker. When Messi played as the false 9 in Pep's system, he was outscoring everyone. The facts I'm trying to make to you is a number 10 very rarely outscores their striker. Bruno Fernandes is always the top scorer at United. If he's getting more goals than your actual striker, there's a failure on the system because that shouldn't really be happening. That's my point. So was Paul Pogba scapegoated at Man United? Yes, 55%. No, 45%. Guys, get your votes in if you haven't done so already. And as always, make sure you sub to the channel and make sure, if you're new in here, and make sure you smash that like button as well. So Kevin says, your argument is flawed. You're using teams that have world-class strikers. We have had an absolute muck up front. But Kevin, again, you're not listening to what I'm saying, Kevin. Yeah? Engage your brain before you talk, man. You're not listening to what I'm saying. Name me an absolute number 10, yeah, that outscores their strikers. Did Ozil outscore Aubameyang? No, he didn't. Did De Bruyne outscore Haaland? No. It's not about world-class strikers or whatever. Just go and look at what number 10s have outscored the strikers, and you'll find it's not very many. Yeah? It's regardless of what strikers you have. The point I'm trying to make to you, Kevin, yeah, is if you've got a midfielder that is outscoring your strikers, it usually tells you that there's a flaw in the system. Simple as. Simple as, because it shouldn't be happening. Your number 10 is meant to be the creator. That's what should happen. Not someone that is just disregarding their responsibilities to go and get numbers. That's my point, Kevin. And as Broderick has said, every year since he got here, Bruno has taken the most shots in the team and is usually top 3 to 5 in the league for shots. He's also at the bottom for shot conversion in the league, averaging 5%. And there you go. That's my point. When your number 10 is a shoot-on-sight player and he's just getting bare numbers, there's a problem there. Yeah, I can't believe people don't even see this. He's in the top 3 to 5 for shots in the league. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yet your striker, and bringing it back to Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund's shit. He is, yeah? He's shit. He got 4 league goals last season, yeah? If Bruno's having the most shots in the league and your striker's getting 4 league goals, who do you blame? Who do you blame for that? If your number 10 or your supposed creative midfielder is meant to be creating, why is your striker getting 4 league goals then? See what I mean? Look at Kevin. Surprise, surprise, you'd have given the pen to a black guy. Yeah, good one, Kevin. Good one, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? These are the kind of people that you've got, man, coming up. Kevin, at least show your face, man, if you're gonna come out with this nonsense, you know? Big up to Mike, man. Big up, my guy. Big up. Guys, make sure you're voting on the poll. Paul Pogba is winning at the moment by 62%. No, 38%. So again, going back to what I was saying, Paul Pogba was scapegoated at Man United for many reasons. You know, for many, many reasons. Otto Daz says, nah, I love football, bro. Used to play semi-pro and watch football and supported United since 98. And I'm still going to watch football as I'm a big fan of Premier League and Champions League. But the football being played by United. Yeah, listen. The football being played by United by Man United is an absolute disgrace. And I never thought I'd be saying that United are worse under this manager than Ten Hag. Because Ten Hag was an absolute joke. This manager's worse than actual Eric Ten Hag. Who would have thought that? Mike says Amorim needs to go. The win, this win, then lose, then win is really tiring and draining now. He just needs to go, and he's clearly not the man for the job. Yeah, big up Mike. But Mike, what I would say as well, the fact that fans were getting excited because they beat Chelsea. Yeah, if you look at all of Man United's wins this season, yeah, just have a look at who they've come against. Burnley 3-2, which shouldn't have been a win because that wasn't a penalty on Ahmad. It was outside the box. And the Chelsea game, Robert Sanchez made a calamity of a mistake by getting sent off early. And then the manager just compounds it by the changes he made. So look at both of those wins that United have got. Burnley, Chelsea. Burnley and Chelsea. And you'll see very quick, yeah, why he's out of his depth. And those two games have differences in there. You know, a sending off and the penalty that wasn't. Arsenal, they got beat. Fulham, they drew when they should have got beat. You know, City, they got battered. Brentford, they got beat. And well deserved as well. So, yeah, crazy, man. Crazy. And as Baba says, Xerxes is a Bobby Firmino type player. Exactly, he is. And the very fact that you're saying we don't play that way, well, that's the problem. That's the problem. Because Xerxes should be utilised in the best way possible, you know, as a false nine. But this manager just wants to play this stupid formation of a 3-4-2-1 and then playing Mbeumo, who's a winger, as a 10, playing Ahmad, who's a 10, as a wing-back. The whole thing's just backwards. It's just ridiculous, man. So, again, who do we blame? We blame the manager. It's pathetic, man, what we're seeing there. I think the fact that there's rumours of other managers means those are probably looking for someone right now. They just don't want to publicly make it known until they find a replacement. But listen, Mike, yeah? If United wasn't looking for a manager, then that's a bigger problem. Of course, they've been looking for a manager for time. It's obvious, you know, because any normal Man United fan will look at this and think, yeah, this can't last. And obviously, these people here, you know, fans talking, you know, don't be fooled here that they haven't got people that are watching the internet to see what other fans on YouTube are saying, etc. Yeah, so don't think they're fooled. Yeah, they're looking for a manager right now, 100%. No doubt do I think that they're looking for another manager, and I'll be happy with Iraola, Xavi, Glasner. You know, I'll be happy with any one of them. I'm more leaning towards Iraola and Xavi because of the four at the back. Yeah, but the thing is, I just think Glasner's playing three at the back because he's adapting to the players he has. That's what I believe. So, as I said, man, it is what it is. So Baba says Mbeumo needs to play as a right wing back. Give him that right channel to run into. Plus, he can do the defensive work. Stop this inside forward BS. Play Bruno or Cunha there. Yeah, big up Baba, man. So again, the closest position to a winger is wing back, which is why Mbeumo should be playing really as a wing back. So in a sense, he's got Mbeumo and Ahmad in the wrong positions. They're in the opposite positions because, as I said, the closest position to a winger is wing back. But again, this formation is just what's clearing them anyway. You know, again, Bruno can't play in a 10 because Bruno can play in a 10, even though he's not a 10, in a 4-2-3-1. But he can't play a 10 in this system because this system requires you to be good in isolation. You need to be good at isolating your fullback, you know, or your right-sided centre-back if the other team is playing a three at the back. You need to be good in tight spaces. All the things that Bruno isn't. So this is why he can't play in the 10, because, you know, he ain't got the feet to go past his man. He hasn't got the skill, you know. He hasn't got the pace either. So yeah, but then this man just shoehorns him into the central midfield, and you wonder why we're struggling. Joke. And as Val Ward said, it worked in Portugal, it won't work in the Premier League. Yeah. And again, Val, big up for your comment. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, yeah. Now, when this system he was playing in Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, as I said, if he's Sporting Lisbon under Amorim, when they had Gyökeres there as well, they beat their expected goals by 25. Yeah. So what that tells you, yeah, because that's unheard of. You know, I've never heard of a team beating their expected goals by that amount. That's just unheard of. Yeah. So what that shows you is that you had a very clinical striker, and you had a team that overachieved, really. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that this system is not designed to get in goals. It's not. You just had a freak season with a freak striker getting those numbers at that time. But it just shows you that if you're beating your expected goals by that amount, it usually means that, you know, that the system is not designed to get in goals. So then when you bring this system in, yeah, into the Premier League, which is a tougher league, and let's face it, guys, United have better collective of players than what Sporting Lisbon have, yeah? So why is it Man United are struggling to score goals, but at Lisbon they weren't? Two things. Weaker league, yeah? And as I said, the opposition are not as, basically there's a weaker league, and then you haven't, people might say Gyökeres is a goal scorer, but Gyökeres is not scoring goals at a canter in this league. So yeah, what it tells you that the system doesn't work the system can work, but it's how we choose to put certain players in certain positions. Yeah. But this system is not designed to get in goals, really. That's the truth. It's not. And you're seeing that now. Big up to Cassie. Cassie Funny Comedy. So Mike says, our squad is a 4 at the back team. Dorgu and Maz as fullbacks, and the midfield we have is not a double pivot. We are more suited for a 3-man midfield. I agree. As I said, guys, you guys have probably heard me say this already, yeah? Patrick Dorgu could be United's answer to Alphonso Davies if you play him as a left-back with his physicality. I don't think United are doing Patrick Dorgu any favours, or Amorim's doing him any favours, by playing him as a wing-back. Because what I can see, yeah, with the way the team are using him, he can get burnt out very quick. The guy's only 20 years of age, but he's being used as a runner. You know, as a left-back, you know, I'd much prefer to see him there. Mazraoui as a right-back. Play them in their most comfortable positions. Yeah? This midfield, as I said, the midfield 2 doesn't work. Yeah? A 3 in there, you're going to get a better Kobe Minu for me. You probably get a better Bruno as well with what we've got at the moment. There's no denying that this team needs more midfielders, you know. But Casemiro, from what we've got at the moment, you could pick 3 between Casemiro, Kobe, Bruno, and Ugarte. I mean, it's not great, but in a 3, you know, you could design a midfield 3 out of those, yeah. But as I said, we definitely need to go and spend in the summer, man, or in January for sure. Big up to EYP Lines, says greetings from Turkey. Big up, Turkey in the house. Gav, you make a good Man United manager. Well, it wouldn't be hard, man, to beat this Amorim. I'll tell you that for free. Bruno ain't all that, and he's costing the team, always moaning and blaming others for his mistakes. But bro, he's been doing that for time, man. It's nothing new. He's been doing this for time. Hood Poetry says, disagree. Pogba had too much off-field problems. He was a logistic nightmare. Hood Poetry, if you're still in the chat, let us know what you're talking about, because you're just saying stuff. Like, what off the field problems did he have? What, you think he's the first player that's had off the field problems? The facts are, yeah, the team wasn't designed to get the best out of Pogba. When you've got a manager in Solskjaer that is playing Pogba against Liverpool away at Anfield to go and do a job on the wing, that's how you know you're just taking the piss now. There's no Paul Pogba is not a job. He's not a go and do a job kind of player. The guy's a supreme footballer, one of the most talented footballers you will see in football. As a midfield player, there isn't midfield players that have the qualities that he has. The guy has no weaknesses. But this team wasn't designed to get the best out of Paul Pogba. Instead, it was a team to try and revolve around Bruno Fernandes. Why? Because Bruno got numbers. Like, this is the problem. So all this off-the-field logistics is just nonsense. It's a lie. You think he's the only one that had off-the-field problems? Talking about. Big up to LJ. Yeah, big up. Joe DW says, Pogba is a fashion footballer. He's lazy and wastes his potential. 14 to 15 Pogba was on another level at Juventus. I highly disagree with that. When people are saying Paul Pogba's lazy, yeah, this is nonsense. And I'll tell you why it's nonsense, yeah. This is a tag that has been labelled with black players in general, yeah. They're good when the sun's out, but when the cold winters are in, they don't want to know, yeah. This whole lazy narrative is just bullshit. The thing is with Paul Pogba, because he's got a languid style, he might look lazy. Did anyone call Dimitar Berbatov lazy? Did anyone call Eric Cantona, one of my favourites, lazy? This whole thing is nonsense. It's because Paul Pogba wasn't flying around like a complete maniac. Because again, the ones that run around, it usually means they're not smart. Yeah, because you shouldn't be running around like crazy. Because what you're going to do is put your team under pressure by being out of position. But because Paul Pogba didn't do that, fans were just too easy to say, oh, he's lazy. It's a complete load of nonsense. You know what I mean? He's not lazy. It's just that I'd much prefer people to just say he wasn't my type of player. But to start calling him lazy is a lie. It's an absolute lie. Because I look at loads of players in the Premier League and loads of players don't run around like a complete madman. But they're not being called lazy. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. Graham Souness absolutely ripped a Pogba apart every chance he got. Where is he now when 150 million Wirtz is dropping those strikers? Listen, I'm not gonna put it on Florian Wirtz because Florian Wirtz is one of my favourite players. So again, I do believe Wirtz will come good. I do. You know, he's not proving it right now, but I'm not here to start talking about Florian Wirtz because I do rate him as a player. Yeah, but this whole Graham Souness on Paul Pogba is nothing short of Graham Souness. How Graham Souness was as a footballer, he's trying to compare that with Pogba. Like Paul Pogba as a talent is far superior to Graham Souness. Graham Souness was a hatchet man. He was someone that used to just foul people and was very energetic and very passionate. He's everything that Paul Pogba isn't. Paul Pogba is a supreme footballer. So when you hear people like Graham Souness talk about Paul Pogba, I don't really care what Graham Souness has to say. I'd rather listen to someone like Zidane, Iniesta, you know, players like that. You know, talk about Paul Pogba. You know, like a Wesley Sneijder or Van Persie. People that were actual talents, not Graham Souness. Because only thing Graham Souness is going to say is, you know, about his attitude or whatever, because these guys just don't know what's going on. So I'm not really here to be talking about Graham Souness because Graham Souness knows nothing about football. He doesn't. All he knows about is just what he saw in his day. So again, I'm not going to take that seriously. Guys, come on. We got 22 votes. Make sure you're voting. So was Paul Pogba scapegoated at Man United? Yes, 59%. No, 41%. Make sure you get your votes in, guys. Come on. Ozil was scapegoated. I agree. He was. Again, why was Ozil scapegoated? Because of how it looked. Because he's not a Declan Rice run around like crazy. This is why these guys get scapegoated. It's been like that for time. Yeah, and then guys, again, this is what shows, yeah. I'm just reading through Kevin McGee's chat, yeah. This is what I'm trying to say to you, why people just don't understand, yeah? So Kevin McGee has said Ozil, David Silva, and De Bruyne would all outscore our strikers easily, yeah? The fact that he's mentioned Ozil, Silva, and De Bruyne, yeah, it just shows you really that he doesn't even know what he's talking about, yeah? Because you've mentioned 3 players there that are create first players. So if you're a create first player, you're not going to get more goals than your striker. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you just put your foot in it. You're saying that Ozil, Silva, and De Bruyne would outscore our strikers easily. But they're creators. So if they're creators, the strikers will score more. That's the point. What are you talking about? Exactly, man. Sometimes, yeah, like sometimes it's pointless talking to people because they don't understand. Cole Palmer outscored his strikers in the last 2 seasons. Again, I said it's very rare that you get that. Yeah. Not to mention, Cole Palmer at times was playing from the right hand side. Cole Palmer play centrally for the majority of the season. Yeah. And again, you're picking out just probably 1 out of how many? You know what I mean? But again, Cole Palmer is a bit of a hybrid. You know, he's more of a create first, but he's more someone that will score goals as well. So yeah, you're just picking out 1 player. But I said the majority of the time, your number 10s don't outscore your strikers because the number 10 position is meant to be for a creator. The fact that you just mentioned Ozil, David Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne, you just given my answer because these guys there are create first. You know, out of those 3, you'd say De Bruyne is more the shoot first than the other 2, but they're create first players. Bruno's not a create first player; he's a shoot on sight player. Understand, yeah? Big up to George says, hi bro, any thoughts on Arsenal's win yesterday? Yeah, listen, we touched on it earlier, you know. Well done to Arsenal, man. You know, because I didn't see that win coming. And I did say before the game, you know, they need to they need to show if they're serious about winning a league title by going to grounds like St James's Park and beating Newcastle. And to be fair, they done what they had to do, man. So big up, man. Fair enough. Fair enough. Baba says, do we have any wingers in the academy to play? I think we might need to play Ahmad and Mbeumo on both the wings if a new manager comes in. No, we don't. We don't, Baba. What Man United need to do, and I want to see a manager do this, yeah? 4-2-3-1. I want to see Kobe and Casemiro in the midfield 2, Ahmad in the 10, Mbeumo on the right, Cunha on the left, Xerxes up top. I want to see that because we keep seeing other things but this. A 4-2-3-1, I want to see that. And then you've got the likes of Sesko on the bench. If things are not going too well, you can bring him on. You know, other players on the bench that if it's not going the way or you want to change it, you can do that. But until a manager does that, then we're going to keep seeing the same old shit, unfortunately. Juju says, stick to my stomach, we lost to United. Juju, who you support though? Who do you support? Are you a Chelsea fan? Yeah, I've seen that Xavi wants United. Gav, can we employ you as a DOF, please? Listen, if they're watching, man, just give me a call, man, and I'll come on the chat, man, and we can discuss. Because I'll tell you this now, I know exactly the players I'll be identifying. You know what I mean? Yeah, big up LJ, man, big up. Giggs once said United would not have collapsed like Liverpool, and now we have become worse. We have, man, we have. Who would have thought, man? Would you take Xavi, Gav? I would, 100%. I would. Listen, there ain't many managers I wouldn't take over this manager because this manager's that poor. As I said, just give me a manager that wants to play the best players, and that's a start. That's all I ask for. Play the best players, and naturally you get a good football. Put them in a system, yeah, where they can thrive and do their thing, and then you'll see it change. But too many managers keep coming to this club, and they keep picking the players that aren't the best. This is the problem. So Otterdad says, come on, bro. Me and you both know United can't be trusted to make good football decisions. So therefore, you can't sit here and tell me you expect them to hire the right type of manager like an Iraola or Glasner. Well, I can because it's my opinion. But no, listen. Yeah, the blemish on their career right now is Ugarte, and it's not sacking this manager. You know, and again, they even sacked Ten Hag too late. But what I will say is, I said he needs 6 points from these next 2 games. He's failed. So Sunderland, do I think United beat Sunderland? I don't because confidence is low. Again, Sunderland ain't shit either. No, they've had some good results this season, some good performances. So, and then after that, you've got Liverpool. So, are they happy to keep doing this backwards and forwards? 1 minute he wins, 1 minute he loses, blah blah blah. Are we going to be happy to keep watching this? Because I'm not, and I'm bored of this. So we're going to see very quickly what they're on, because Xavi wants the United job. You know, Iraola and Glasner will jump at this job. There's probably other managers out there as well. You know, you guys know, been watching for any amount of time. I want Zidane, but Zidane's more of an unrealistic one in a sense. You know, even though he is free, but let's see, man. Let's see what happens. See what happens. Aaron says, "Can you box?" I can. I'm actually getting back into the ring. Funny enough, in December. So I'm gonna be doing white collar boxing coming up. So yeah, make sure you guys are keeping our schedule an eye on that, because I'm gonna be doing that. So yeah, big up, man. I can. Aaron, can you box? They'll probably employ Southgate or Potter before they do that. Yeah, listen, I think people that keep coming out with this Southgate and Potter, yeah, they're not going to employ Southgate or Potter. It's just names that are just being mentioned. They're not going to employ them to. I don't think no one has to worry that Southgate or Potter are going to be at the helm of Manchester United. It's not going to happen. It's just names that have been mentioned, whether by the media or by whoever. They're not realistic options. They're not. They're not going to go and hire Southgate or Potter. I can tell you that for free. So, and Bruno played in a 3-2 win against Arsenal under Carrick and scored plonkers. Again, so you think because Bruno scored, like, Kevin, we understand you rate Bruno. Fair enough, man. If you want to go and suck him off, then that's up to you, man. But at the end of the day, Bruno Fernandes is arguably the biggest problem at this club, whether you like it or not. I couldn't give a shit if you do like it, or if you don't like it or not. But the reality is, this guy has been a problem for time. Like, if you like him, that's up to you, man. Well done. So, I hope after a few more streams, Gav, you could mod me so I can help keep these rude little boys in the chat in check. Yeah, big up, LJ, man. Listen, if you're a regular viewer, man, then, again, that is something I do think about. You know, obviously, all my mods that are on there, they've been with me from the very start. You know, they've been watching the channel from the very start. So, as I said, man, if you're a regular viewer and you've got good comments, you've got good questions, again, as a reward, man, I will be modding people. That is, because obviously, if you guys can help regulate the chat, that's what it's about. Why I'm discussing. But unfortunately, we are gonna get trolls. We are gonna get idiots in there. But as you grow, these things happen, man, and you got to be thick-skinned. And it is what it is. But yeah, keep coming through, man, and that's something that I can think about, definitely. So Michael Whitaker says Arsenal will win the league. Well, listen, let's see, man. Let's see. Because 2 points off the top at the moment. Let's see what happens. I'm still saying they won't, though, but who knows? So Joe DW says, whoever said Pogba is a top 10 midfielder of all time in chat is deluded. Listen, why is he deluded? I mean, it depends what you're basing it on. If you're basing it on pure ability, then he is. He is. Central midfielder in terms of ability, he is. There ain't a midfielder in the world that has those qualities collectively. Paul Pogba's good. Paul Pogba's is technical off both feet. He can pass. He can shoot. He's strong. He's got good change of pace. He's good in the air. He can score goals. He can create. Like, there's not a thing that Pogba can't do. So when you're saying they're deluded, they're not deluded. Because what midfield, it depends what you're basing it on. Because again, a lot of these things are subjective. Yeah. If you're basing it on the career that these other midfielders that you think are better than Pogba have had, then you might be seeing things different. But it depends what you're basing it on. Because pure ability, he's up there, 100%. Kevin, how old are you? Let me ask you a question. How old are you? Because I want to know how old you are to know what football you've seen. The same with you, Joe. How old are you guys? Let me know in the chat, guys, how old you guys are. So Kevin says the fact you think Souness was a hatchet man means you haven't a clue. He was a hatchet man. He was. That's why I'm asking how old you are, because like it will let me know like how you see football. It will let me know like what football you've seen. But Souness was a hatchet man. I didn't watch Souness week in, week out, but I've seen a lot of Souness's games, and he was someone that was just a box to box midfielder. It was someone that was an energetic midfielder. Sorry, you know what I mean. He never had the qualities of a Paul Pogba. He didn't. So when you get in players like Souness that are criticizing Pogba, like I don't expect anything different, because yeah, as I said, these guys are only going to judge players. And what you have to realize as well, yeah, a lot of these guys are scripted as well, because a lot of the players that are favored in the media, yeah, they're being scripted what to say about them. Paul Pogba was a hate figure of the media. So all you're going to get is people just talking shit about him, unfortunately. And then what happens when you get people like Souness that say this stuff, it reaches out to millions of people, you know, and people will look at the fact that Graham Souness is in the studio and take his word at face value. But I've played football, you know what I mean? I know my football. So I'm not going to allow Graham Souness to tell me anything about Paul Pogba. I'm not. So it is what it is. Sicko Killer says, "What was the United score on the weekend? Sorry, I missed the game." I don't know whether you're trolling, but it was 3-1. Should have been about 6. So Kevin says, "Are you hard of hearing? If we have shit finishers, then of course the 10 would outscore the striker." Kevin, I don't think you're quite understanding football. Yeah, I'm gonna explain it to you once more. Yeah. I purely said, if you have a number 10, yeah, that is consistently scoring more goals than your number 9, yeah, it usually means that there's something wrong with the system, because a system should be designed to get goals for your team. When your striker is having 4 league goals, whether you think they're shit or not, it means it's a system problem. Under Ten Hag, yeah, United were getting beat all over the place, just like they are with Amorim. Yeah, as I said to you, take Bruno off of the set pieces, every set piece, you will clearly see the numbers that he gets ain't too much. I'm not sure how many other ways I can tell you, yeah? But it's not about having shit finishers. It's nothing to do with that. A system is designed to get the best from your team. If a system's created the same, if a system is a cohesive functioning system and your strikers were getting in position to score, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. Look at how Man United strikers don't really get chances consistently. That's the problem. Take the set pieces away, take the penalties away from Bruno Fernandes, and you'll see very quickly that he hasn't got great numbers. If you don't understand that, then that's your problem. But you're just coming on there just trying to be difficult and not even understanding what you're talking about. So you're saying, of course, the 10 would outscore the striker. No, that should never happen. The number 10 position is a creator's position. Creator's position. That's the point. If he's playing in the 10 and getting more than the strikers, what's that telling you? Talking about, man. Yeah, listen, I'm tired of the back three as well, man. I'm tired of the back three, and I'm tired of Kevin's defence as well, because Bruno has created the most chances since arriving in the league. Not his fault the strikers can't finish. Kevin, I don't care how many chances he's created. I've just told you. Go and look at how they count chances created. Like I think you're just coming out with stuff on purpose now. I've told you the way that chances are created in today's football, and the fact that Bruno's on every set piece, that will tell you why he is getting given the role of the most chances created. He takes every penalty, every corner, every free kick, regardless of how he puts the ball in, and a United player get the head to the ball or a foot to the ball. That's counted as a chance created. That's why his stats look like the way they are. But the facts are, when it comes to the key games like your Europa League finals that he doesn't show up in, yeah, he's got one FA Cup memory against Man City. That was an assist to Kobe Minu. That's all he's got. But when it's time for Bruno to show what he's got, he fails consistently. That's the facts. Yeah, guys, 31 votes, 55 Pogba scapegoated, 44 no. So again, it's not just me saying it. The chat knows what they're talking about. Big up the chat. Listen, big up to Mike. Says Pogba is up there. Just watch how he plays. Mike, the thing is, yeah, people that don't really rate Pogba like that, that's their opinion. It just shows me that really we're on a different level of how we see football. Because if people don't think Pogba is up there as a footballer in the all-time list, yeah, why not? Again, it's subjective. If we're looking at a pure footballer in terms of the qualities he has, he definitely is up there. Because I haven't seen a midfielder all-rounded like that in football. I haven't. There ain't a thing he can't do, really, as a central midfield player. If you put him in a cohesive system where he's allowed to express himself, you're going to get a Paul Pogba that's going to be on absolute madness. You will. But if we're talking about his whole career in terms of trophies won, etc., then again, he's not going to make the top 10 if it's based on stuff like that. But I'm talking as a pure footballer, central midfielder, not on the careers they've had, as a pure footballer in terms of the qualities he has. That's what I'm talking about. Zidane's not retired. Nah, he's just taking a break, man. He's from what I've heard, he's on a very good contract wherever he is, and he's just waiting for the right job. I think he wants that French job anyway, you know. Yeah, Carrick did drop him. He dropped him for the Chelsea game. So there you go. You're saying we're chatting out of our arse, but you are. Carrick dropped him for the Chelsea game away at Stamford Bridge. He did. There you go. Now, listen, people are free to have their opinion, but, and again, chat, if Kevin's in there, and if Kevin's not being disrespectful, then allow him to have his say. Like, I don't want no one blocking him or timing him out. Listen, if he's not disrespectful and he's putting in his own comments, then allow it. Because this ain't North Korea, man. We're not gonna just silence anyone. At the end of the day, if you've got an opinion and whether I agree with it or not, then as long as you're respectful, that's what matters. So yeah, I don't want you being timed out or feeling oppressed in your opinion. So yeah, my mods will definitely regulate the channel, but it's when you start getting respectful. That's what they're looking for. So Pogba's got a World Cup medal and a Euro. But again, it's not even about the trophies. Like I'm saying, I'm looking at the footballer. Souness controlled games, did he? Okay. Boy, I'm not sure. I think our interpretation of controlling games is different then. You know? He was a hatchet man. I don't care what anyone says. He was a hatchet man. But again, football was different in the 80s. It was. He was known as a hard man. That's why he can't stand Pogba, because he can't relate to Pogba. That's the problem. He can't relate to him. Ultimate728 says, bro, go shower. I can't, man. Your wife's in there right now. So I can't. It's a bit too late for that, man. So Joe says, I'm 26. Ability doesn't necessarily mean results. And putting Pogba in the top 10 all-time midfielders is nonsense. Let's put Adel Taarabt up there as well. Pogba is still a great player, though. Big up to Joe. So, Joe, I've got 10 years on you, yeah? 12, to be precise, yeah? So, again, when you're saying Pogba's not in the top 10 all-time midfielders, yeah? Again, and you're saying put Adel Taarabt. This is why I said, what are we basing this on? Are we basing it on ability or what they've won in their careers? Because if you're basing it on what they've won in their careers, then again, there'll be other midfielders ahead of him. I'm talking pure ability. As a central midfielder, yeah, what abilities have they got? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So again, let's just be more precise in what we're discussing. Yeah, listen, Bruno's not the guy, man. So Kevin says he started in the Chelsea game. No, he didn't. Away to when Carrick was in charge, away to Chelsea. I think Jadon Sancho started that game. I don't think Bruno started that game. If anyone knows, put that in the chat. I don't think Bruno started in that game. Yeah, Keane was known as a hard man and still controlled games. He was. But again, we're talking about Graham Souness here. And we're talking about Graham Souness' criticism of Paul Pogba. You know? Roy Keane, before he came the hard man, was actually a good player. You know, he was actually a good player, good midfield player. But Graham Souness, from what I've seen, was a hatchet man. Like, when you're saying he controlled games, like, I'd like to know what kind of games you think he controlled, because I don't believe that for a second. And as Mike said, look at Pogba's technical ability. Mate, the guy is an absolute joke. Big up to Joker. Again, I'm gonna let you guys just handle it, because I'm done with trying to prove the Paul. Like, if you don't rate Paul Pogba that highly, then that's your opinion. But yeah. But listen, Kevin, I'm well versed in football, man. Like, I'm guessing you're a Liverpool fan, yeah. But when it comes to football, you're saying you're 38, which I am, yeah. So I wouldn't have a clue about Souness. How do you know that? You know nothing about me, yeah. But as I said, like, when I'm telling you Souness was a hatchet man, it's because I know he was, because I've seen him play. You're telling me he controlled games. He didn't control games like Busquets. You know what I mean? So again, we're having a different conversation. The way that you see controlling games, but again, the fact that you've come out with David Silva and De Bruyne and Ozil would outscore strikers, it just tells me you don't really know what you're talking about, really, you know? But it is what it is. Question is Pogba even top 10 all-time United midfielders on ability? Bro, what are you talking about? He's probably in the top 2 on ability, central midfielders. If we're talking about pure ability, central midfielders, you're looking at Pogba, and then next to him you can put the likes of Scholes, Juan Sebastian Veron. A pure ability. I don't think you know how good Pogba as a player, how talented he is. Like, if you think Pogba isn't in the top 10 of all-time United midfielders, then I'm sorry, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, anyone in this chat now, yeah, put a thumbs up if you think Paul Pogba's in the top 3 of central midfielders at Manchester United ever in terms of ability. Because I can tell you now, he's in there easily. The only player on pure ability that can chat to him, really, is probably Juan Sebastian Veron. Paul Scholes will be in there for me, clearly, yeah. But in terms of ability, Veron. So Toast Hiltiger says Gerrard better than Pogba. again, subjective. What do we mean by better? What do we mean by better? Because a lot of these things are subjective. You know, let me know what you mean by better. Tulse Hiltiger. What's better? What, a better career? Better, more talented? What are we meaning? Go check. It's not hard to find out. Only game Carrick dropped him for was Villarreal. Bruno changed the game when he came on and we won 2-0. Bro, guys, anyone know, because against Chelsea, did Bruno start against Chelsea when Carrick took over at Stamford Bridge? I'm pretty sure Bruno didn't play that. Bruno was on the bench for that game. So Tol says, you're too young to know Souness. I'm not. I've seen Souness games. I'm telling you now. I've seen him. He was a hatchet man. Whether you like it or not, he was a hatchet man. You know what I mean? That's what he was. You're telling me he controlled games. Like, your controlling games is different to mine. Busquets used to control games. You know, Xavi used to control games. Andrea Pirlo used to control games. Like, these are guys that control games. So you're telling me he controlled games. He might have controlled it on FIFA 96 or something like that. I don't know, but no one controls games like Busquets. So why are you telling me he controls games then? So if no one controls games like Busquets, Kevin, why are you telling me that Souness controls games? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? Come on. Do better than that, Kevin. Oh, you're a United fan, yeah? Okay. You're a United fan. Whoa. At the moment, man, you're embarrassing us, man. Do better. Come on. Guys, come on. 35 votes. 57-43. Make sure you smash the like button as well. And make sure you sub to the channel if you're new in here. Listen, we're not meant to agree on every opinion, but it's a good debate that's going on. We've got Kevin who thinks Graham Souness was a controller in midfield, but now he's telling me that no one controls games like Busquets. So what one is it then? Yeah, but Joe, listen, you're saying you don't even think Pogba is bad, but the drop-off from Juventus Pogba to United is crazy. But again, what you have to look at, yeah, is the team at Man United wasn't set up to get the best from Pogba. When you're bringing in a player of that level, yeah, you have to, because again, football's a team game, yeah, you have to provide the platform for that player to succeed. And Pogba never had that. You know, there's a reason why a lot of talented players come to United and fail, because the team hasn't been set up for them, for them to succeed. These things need to happen in order to get the best from your star player. Pogba never had that. He never had that. It's as simple as that. So when you're saying the drop-off is crazy, there's always reasons for these things. Big up to 40s and fighting fat. Big up, mad name. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Kevin, are you seeing that, yeah? So 40s and fighting fat says he was on the bench. There we go. There we go, Kevin. I knew he was on the bench anyway. So is what it is, isn't it? So the Joker says, I'm a gooner and Stevie G is my favourite ever central midfielder in Prem. But Pogba on ability is better. Pogba was a baller and Man United failed him, just like Arsenal failed Ozil. Big up to the Joker. Big up to the Joker. I couldn't have said it any better. Yeah? Pogba on ability is miles clear of Steven Gerrard. But Steven Gerrard, in terms of what he gave to Liverpool, was something else. Yeah? But again, if you haven't got a team that is there to get the best out of your star players, there's only so much these players can do, as good as they are. That's the truth. That is the truth. So there you have it. So Busquets is the only player to control games. You're not making any sense. I didn't say that. You're not listening. You're the one, Kevin, that told me no one controls games like Busquets. I've just told you players that can control games. Busquets, Xavi, Andrea Pirlo, Marco Verratti, Rodri. can control the game. I'm trying to think. Luka Modric, Frankie de Jong, Pedri. These guys are what you call controllers of the games. They dictate the tempo of the game. Yeah? Graham Souness wasn't that. No matter what you say. Scholes control the game. 100%. Paul Scholes. Tony Cruz. Big up to Hamza. There we go. Paul Scholes. Tony Cruz. Andrea Pirlo. These guys controlled games. Not Souness. Where you getting from? Where you getting that Souness controlled games? Like, I dread to think how much football you've seen. I've not seen every game of Graham Souness, but I've seen some clips. He was not no controller of games. I know that for a fact. So big up to Mayer that says, hey, you were replying to me about Bruno Fernandes leaving the club, and I said I didn't want him to, but after the other day, it may well be a valid option. Yeah, big up to May Edits. May, listen, I'm always ahead of the curve, man. That's what it is. Like, I don't just pluck these opinions from my ass. I don't. I just give my real opinion. And when I'm saying to you that Bruno Fernandes is a problem, it's because I've seen too much football to know these things, you know? And the fact that fans now are starting to come around to the idea that Bruno may be a problem, it's like, where have you been? He's always been a problem. So, it is what it is. Right, guys, I'm going to go through a few more of your chats and comments. Big up yourselves before we wrap up. Yeah, Joe, listen, man. What people do when they've been beaten, they come out with silly little immature takes because they just can't hack it, unfortunately. You know, Kevin's the one that said you know, no one can control games like Busquets, and then he's retracted that. He's come out with a lot of nonsense. But at the end of the day, listen, you come out with nonsense. You know, he's the one that said that Bruno started against Chelsea. I'm pretty sure Bruno was on the bench against Chelsea when Carrick took over. But again, accountability is not very often, you know, and Kevin doesn't take any accountability, unfortunately, because if he did, he'll just keep quiet from now on. So, Kevin, what apology are you waiting for Carrick's selections? What one you waiting on? United should have capitalised and sold Bruno to Saudi for a big bag. So Pogba has talent, so does Rashford, Garnacho, Sanchez, Greenwood, Anthony. But what they did all lack discipline. Their ego got the better of them. So again, hood poetry. I'm gonna retract that. Yeah, Garnacho's got no talent really. Greenwood does. Alexis Sanchez come to United when he was more or less finished. Rashford was put into a position where he shouldn't have been really, and Anthony didn't get given a chance. A lot of that's nothing that's to do with discipline. It isn't. You know, I think that's just or ego. That's just excuses. Yeah. And in the day, Greenwood's one was personal. Rashford, to be fair, was given a lot, but ultimately, you know, he needs to be moved on time ago. Garnacho was never good enough, and he was forced into this first team. And Anthony, as I said, Anthony was someone that wasn't being given a chance. When people say ego and discipline, unless you're at the training ground or unless you know these people, like it's just talk, because they might turn around and say, "Well, you've got you've got bad discipline, you've got an ego," you know. Like this is the truth. Like all this stuff that I'm hearing, like it doesn't make any difference because at the end of the day, it's just comments, really. You know what I mean? So Noor Saeed says, how many managers need to come and go to realise it's not only the managers? But no one's saying it's just the managers. At the end of the day, the buck stops with the manager. Yeah, you're not gonna get rid of 20-something players, yeah, and then keep the manager. The facts are, the majority of these players have to be moved on. The likes of Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Manuel Ugarte, Diogo Dalot, Mason Mount. Those names I just mentioned have to be moved on. But the other players that are still there, I'm happy with. I'm happy with the Ligt, Yoro, Mazraoui, Ahmad, Kobe Mainu, Xerxes, Sesko, Embuemo, Cunha. I'm happy with them players. But ultimately, this manager is failing them and he's just taking the piss now. So it's not about how many have to go through. It's not the managers. The manager's just failing, you know. So Gav, if Amorim stays and Kobe goes in that January transfer window, is that the last straw for you? Big up to United fan. And guys, I'm going to tell you this one more time, yeah, as well. Kobe Mainu is not going anywhere. What Kobe Mainu is doing, yeah, he's trying to see how much he's rated by the club. Him and his team, yeah, are forcing the issue, yeah, to see how much he's rated because he knows full well that this manager's on his last legs, yeah. So what it is that he's an academy product, yeah, and they're just trying to force the Ineos' hand to part ways with the manager because he's as I said, he's on his last legs. So Kobe's not going to go anywhere. They're not going to sanction Kobe going in January, and this manager's still here. What's going to happen, in my opinion, that that Amorim gets sacked, yeah, and then the new manager comes in and uses Kobe Mainu. But I'm not worried about Kobe going in January. He's not going anywhere. He's not. It's just a ploy from his team to put pressure on Ineos. Yeah, big up, Mike, man. As I said, Carrick dropped Bruno against Chelsea. You say he didn't. He sounds like you're wrong, Kevin, mate. He did, because I remember Bruno being on the bench for that game because Jadon Sancho started. So, yeah. Big up to Dave's collection. Big up. Do you like Russia? well, I don't dislike Russia. So, if I don't know, do I like Russia? What kind of question is that? Like, what does that even mean? If you've got good football chat, man, then it's welcome. Double A says, where you from? From the UK, man. Dorgu. Yeah, Dorgu's a good player, man. But I think he's being wasted at his left wing back. He should be playing left back for me. You know, and I definitely do think United need to go and get another left back to help him out. Definitely. Kevin goes, of course he likes Dorgu. He's black. Kevin, you are funny, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. So guys, Kevin thinks I only like black players. Apparently, see the kind of clowns we get. Kevin, you are entertaining, man. You are. You're entertaining, man. So I only like players when they're black. Yeah. Even though my favorite players, a lot of them are white. It is funny, man. It is funny. But listen, Kevin, man, you're entertaining us. That's what I will say. Even Joe was one of your defenders. He's now looking at you, Kevin, as a problem. Right, guys, I'm going through a few more of your So Terry Stone says, you got my respect. I'm a little bit of a celebrity in my town, UK. Terry Stone, that name rings a bell, you know. Terry Stone. I might be wrong, yeah, but Terry, if you're still in the chat, that name sounds like it's from Rise of the Foot Soldiers. Am I right? Terry Stone. Am I right? I could be wrong, but that name rings a bell, man. Terry Stone. Rise of the Foot Soldiers. If you guys haven't seen Rise of the Foot Soldiers, give that a watch, man. One of my favorites to watch, man. Proper English film. Gav, tell me your first team from this United team we have right now. Your formation and your 11 players that you think should play. Hamza, big up, man. That's easy. That's easy. So I'll tell you my first team. But for to start with, I'll play a 4-2-3-1. Yeah? And the team I would play is Lemens or Bayindir in goal. Pick one. I don't know, yeah? Right back would be Mazraoui. Left back would be Patrick Dorgu. Two centre-backs would be Matthias de Ligt and Lenny Yoro. Again, I do like a left-footed central defender on the left side and a right foot on the right side. But those two, I think, could sort it out. The midfield two will be Kobe and Casemiro. Again, if you want to utilise Casemiro properly, just make sure there ain't too many gaps in the midfield, you know. And obviously got Kobe, that will be playing in the midfield as well. And he's got a different role rather than the 3-4-2-1. Yeah. Number 10, Ahmad. On the right, Mbeumo. On the left, Cunha. And then striker, Joshua Zirkzee. That's the team that I would start with for 5 games, if everyone's fit. 5 games, see how it goes. Again, you've got the likes of Sesko on the bench. A Mason Mount if you want to use him. Dallo if you want to use them. Bruno on the bench as well. Try different things. You got have them guys on the bench, but this manager's not going to do that. So, yeah, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. So, Double A says, whereabouts in the UK, bro? I'm in Manny. Okay, big up, man. So, Double A, man. I'm from Essex, man. From Essex. Yeah. Would you fight Khalid Nurmagomedov? I think you mean Khabib for $10,000. Nah, it's not enough, man. Not enough. We get some random chats in there. Not enough. So Joe says surely Sesko over Zirkzee. Listen, from what I've seen of Sesko, I do like him, but I think Zirkzee will just offer that bit more because, as I said, in a 4-2-3-1 where you've got the wide forwards, yeah, you need a player that links the play like Zirkzee, which will allow those players to get numbers, to get goals. So I'm not saying Sesko has no part, but Sesko would definitely feature. But I would start that team first and foremost and then see how it goes. And again, if it's not working, you know, and you got to change things around, you've got players to bring on. And look, Kevin's saying, Kevin, you're killing me. I ain't gonna lie, man. You're actually killing me. You're actually killing me. You're killing me, man. Yeah. Kevin, man. Kevin, what happened, man? You got beat up by a black guy, I was saying. What's the matter? What, a black guy took your wife? Like, what's happening, man? Let us know. We're here for you, Kevin. We are here for you, man. Because it just seems like any time I say a player, whether they're black or white, man, you want to put that in. Like, what's your beef with black players, man? What's your beef with black players? Did a black player take your wife, man? I'm saying, I don't know. It's just mad. It's mad. No, my wife likes intelligent people. So why is she with you then, Kevin? Why is she with you? You know? Why is your wife with you then, man? Because if she was seeing this chat, man, she'll be disgusted by your actions, Kevin. She'll be disgusted, man. Because what you're coming out with on air is just a complete load of nonsense, man. You're actually acting like a child. So, Kevin, how old are you, by the way? Because you claim to have seen Graham Souness. So that means you must be in your 60s. I'm guessing. Let us know, Kevin, man. Let us know. How old are you? Are you in your 60s? Guys, if you haven't voted yet, it's 48 votes. Was Paul Pogba scapegoated at Man United? 67% say yes, 33% say no. Yeah, listen, Kevin's been the humour today, man. He has been funny, man. I ain't gonna lie. He's been funny, but I don't know, man. I just don't know. Right, guys, listen up. Big up yourselves. Big up yourselves each and every time. Obviously, second stream of the day. Big up. Big up, guys, for coming through. And Kevin, big up yourself, man. As I said, you know, whether we agree or not on opinions, you know, you've come in there, and even though you've come out with some wild takes, you know, my mods haven't blocked you, so that means you haven't been disrespectful. But you have been a bit mad. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, listen. Big up yourselves, guys, each and every time. Again, if you haven't subbed to the channel and you're new in here, make sure you sub. And again, guys, if you haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do on the way out. And guys, make sure you vote as well. So obviously, Paul Pogba, was he scapegoated at Man United? At the moment, there's been 48 votes. 67% say yes, 33% say no. So yeah, get your get your votes in, guys. And as I said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new in here. And guys, check out my other content as well. You know, check out my other content. But big up to all the newcomers coming in, especially you, Kevin, as well. And big up to all the mods each and every time. And guys, as I said, I should be back tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a late one, though. Might be an evening one at 7:30, but I'll let you guys know. And Wednesday, going to be doing a live watch along for the PSG and Barcelona game, which is going to be, I would say, probably the tie of the whole Champions League. That's two teams I definitely want to see play, and I think everyone's at full fitness as well, hopefully. So yeah, we're doing a live watch along for that one on Wednesday. So yeah, make sure you guys come through. And as I said, make sure you guys are always supporting the channel. Big up. But yeah, guys, big up yourselves. Smash the like button on the way out. Sub to the channel if you're new. Get your vote in as well before we wrap. And yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.